Good evening, council members, and good evening to Altadena. Okay, great. The Altadena Town Council meeting for September 18, 2018 is hereby called to order. It is 7:11 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to have Councilmember Sutherlen to introduce the person to lead us in tonight's Pledge of Allegiance.
Deb Halberstadt, would you mind coming to the podium? Please. Many of you may know this young lady that has come to the excuse me. I don't have a microphone today. That has come to the microphone. But here's a little bit of something about her. Deb Halberstadt co-owns Deb Squared Photo with Debbie Swanson Patrick and Altadena, a photography and video company with fully equipped insert, stage, and outdoor garden. A little advertising. Much of her experience lies in the Los Angeles market, though some of it's been in other areas of California, in other states, and abroad. Previously, Deb was NBC Manager, Media Services Photography. Before NBC, she worked for the Associated Press as a picture editor, photographer in Chicago and Los Angeles. She is happily married to John Hayner for 42 plus years. They lived in Altadena since 1977. But here's the reason that she's going to lead our pledge today. During the past 8 years, Deb has embarked on a wide range of volunteering services, including for Altadena Los Angeles Sheriff's Department as a volunteer on patrol, Sheriff Department's Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, and the San Gabriel Pomona Valley Red Cross, where she is the ambassador to Altadena. Now, would you please lead our Pledge of Allegiance?
Stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deb, for leading tonight, Pledge of Allegiance. Item number 1.2. Okay. 1.2, that will be Recording Secretary, Councilmember Jones.
Good evening, Altadena, and good evening, council members. Please answer after I call your name. Victoria Knapp. Present. Jeff Simmons.
Present.
Okorie Ezieme.
Present.
Billy Malone.
Present.
Dorothy Wong.
Here.
Aaron Cheetah.
Excused.
Sandra E. Thomas.
Present.
Gloria Sanika.
Here.
Antonio Becerra.
Present.
Justin Robertson.
Here.
Pat Sutherlen.
Here.
Reginald Wilkins. He's not here. Jennifer Lee.
Here.
Diane Markison.
Here.
Sylvia Vega.
Excused.
Okay, we have a quorum with 13.
And for the record, Councilmember Wilkinson is here. Okay.
So it's 14.
Okay. Thank you. Can you pass it down? Item number, thank you, Councilmember Jones. Item number 1.3, that will be the September 18, 2018 meeting agenda. Councilmember Sutherlen.
Okay, I want to let you know that the Executive Committee met on September 11th and approved the agenda, copies of which you will find on the piano in the back if you haven't already gotten yourself a copy. Council members, you have the agenda in front of you. Are there any additions that need to be added?
Yes, I'd like to add a census tract report for Census Tract 4603.02.
Thank you, ma'am. That'll be 8.3. Yes?
Yeah, we can add an update for 4601.
Okay.
Yeah, 4603.
Any more? Any more? Then I move that we accept the agenda as amended.
Okay, the motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposing? Any abstention? Thank you, Councilmember Sutherlen. Officers report. The chairman. Again, thank you, Altadenans, for always participating in what is going on in your community. There are so many areas that I could touch, but the Education Committee, for one, is wonderfully doing a wonderful job for Altadena. So every committee is doing very well. The community participation is well elevated, well heightened, and we do appreciate the community coming. We do appreciate your input. We do hear from you a lot, even through our respective emails. So we do appreciate the community. This is your community. And the people that are here, I've always said that leaders have no more power than people give them. And I know that I personally practice that. I never allow my personal agenda to override that of the community. And finally, you always hear me say, my mantra for this year has always been, and still is, progressive ideas and community engagement. We want to hear from the community. We want to hear from the council members. We want to put together all those information to better serve you. So, and I want to say thank you for what you are doing for the community. Just a little bit heads up. We will be having, once we get the date set, on February, I believe it's February 9th, we will have the second annual Get Healthy Altadena 2019. And I believe is the Saturday after the Super Bowl. So, again, we're letting the community know in advance that will be happening. And I know that Councilmember Knapp will probably, I'm not sure if you're going to say something about the activity for December, so maybe it's premature. Okay, all right. So that is it from me, and I really thank you all for your involvement in your community. Then going on to item number 2.2, and that's the Vice Chair's report, and that is Councilmember Sutherlen.
As as indicated on the agenda, at tonight's meeting, we have two times when we will be accepting public comment. The first time general public comment will be right after the public safety reports. This is when anyone can come and comment on anything that they want to comment on. The second public comment will be a little further down the agenda for the Land Use Committee action item on Canyon Ridge, and then we'll be accepting public comment on that particular situation. If you wish to speak, be sure that you complete one of the comment cards that are back on the piano and turn them in at either end of the table, and we will call on you at the appropriate time. When you are called on to speak, if you would come up to the podium and speak into the microphone, that would be most helpful. not about public comments, but I would like to report that the town council was represented on Saturday at the Community Resource Fair at the library. We had members of the town council, we had members of the council film committee, education committee, and Safe Streets committee. So we were there from 10 to 2. There was a good amount of numbers of people that stopped by to see us. I think at one time we were the loudest place in the library, but they said that's okay because everybody looked like they were having a good time, so it was all right. But we, as a committee, did participate in the resource fair, and I'm very happy that we did so, and I want to publicly thank the people that actually went and the council members that went and participated also. That's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Sutherlen. Recording Secretary's report, that's item number 2.3, Councilmember Jones.
Honorable council members, on September 15th, you were emailed a draft of the August 21st minutes. I received minor corrections and additions. Those corrections and additions have been incorporated into the final minutes. I make a motion that the minutes of August 21st be accepted in final form.
Okay, you have heard the motion and seconded. Double seconded, but we take Councilmember Sanika as the second. And all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposing? Anyone abstaining? One abstention. Councilmember Robertson. Item number 2.4, the Treasurer's Report, Councilmember Lee.
Treasurer's Report. In the account, the Altadena Town Council has $2,867.20. We operate on donations, so I am putting a donation in the can, and then I'm going to pass it around. I'm going to pass it this way, and hopefully it can come all the way back down there. Thank you very much.
Okay, as the can is making its way around, let's move on to, thank you so much, Councilmember Lee. Corresponding Secretary's Report, Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Chair. So no new correspondence came in, but we are looking at revamping our communications website as well, considering some social media outreach. So if anyone wants to get involved in the community, please contact myself, Dorothy Wong, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Wong. Public safety and safety reports. Let's start with the CHP. Officer Mike.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me this evening. I was out last month for the meeting on a little bit of R&R. The batteries are charged up, so it's good to be back. The numbers that I discussed tonight pertain to the month of August. Traffic collisions in total for the month of August, there was 26. 15 of those were property damage only. 7 were hit and run traffic collisions. With the exception of 1, all of these involved situations where people were parked on the street. So we really encourage people, if at all possible, park your vehicle on your property, your driveway, your garage, whatever the case may be. Maybe we can get a reduction in those particular collisions. There were 2 collisions that involved injury, both of which were minor in nature. There were 2 other collisions that involved a vehicle versus a pedestrian. But in the situation of both of those collisions, they were minor in nature, but in both of those instances, people were transported to area hospital via ambulance. There were 0 DUI-related traffic collisions. That's a good thing. There were 0 other DUI arrests. That's a good thing. There were 0 fatalities. That's a great thing. I don't have the citation stats. They weren't available before I came to the meeting tonight, so hopefully we'll get up to speed with those next month. Other than that, I don't really have much else. Kind of short. Anybody have any questions for me?
Councilmember Wong?
I'm sorry, so you said you didn't have the stats. Do you happen to know anything about the vehicle pedestrian location and/or time of day-ish? Were they at night?
They were, I pulled up both of those reports, Dot. I didn't get those particulars. They were both during the day. But again, they were both minor in nature. And there were 0 traffic collisions involving bicyclists. Okay, so just info on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Marcuson?
I know we've talked about this before. I don't want to be a broken record. Are there any statistics that the CHP is gathering at all about cell phone usage and causing accidents? I know we talked about maybe trying to get it for Altadena. I'm not sure you can do that, but I just wonder if overall CHP has some statistics. I mean, I think it's important to share with everybody that, you know, how many, if that, you know, I don't know how many people are actually having accidents on the phone.
Right. When I generate these stats each month to come and speak to you guys about it, I open up each and every traffic collision that occurs in the community. Okay. So on page 2 of that traffic collision, I can look to see if somebody was using their cell phone, if they were eating, or they were messing with their stereo or something like that.
Right.
I can try and take those stats down, but I can tell you from 18 years of experience of being out on the field, if somebody was involved in a traffic collision, and they're kind of trying to skirt around saying, oh yeah, I ran into the back of that other vehicle, they're not really going to admit those types of things when you're on scene, you know? So those stats might be a little askew, but I mean, when you think about it, all traffic collisions are preventable. Somebody did something wrong. They were distracted in some way, shape, or form, which led to that collision. So my advice, be careful, pay attention.
Sorry, I can't look at you anymore. My eyeballs are getting
I know
seared.
that. Yeah, I know what it feels like to be a hamburger on a heat lamp right here.
Looking at his head. Ooh, bad. No, I mean, no. I did not mean, honest to goodness, I did not, from where I sit.
It's like looking at the sun or something?
From where I sit with that light behind you, I can't tell if you have hair or not. So
I don't know.
It's not about the hair. It's a solar eclipse. It's the light that's burning my retina. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Any further questions for Officer Mike?
Veronica does.
Okay, Councilmember Jones.
Officer Mike, I just wanted to say thank you to the captain, to the CHP for showing up at Jackson School last Wednesday. It made a big difference, and the captain sent a letter to the principal that's going to go out to all the parents saying that you guys are there and watching. It's going to make a big difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What's that stripe on your... What happened?
There was a sheriff deputy who passed away in Northern California, and most agencies, I think pretty much all agencies, we wear this, what's called a tribute of mourning ribbon, as a show of respect for the passing of those officers. But just to let you know, Captain Wong, I almost demoted him right there. I said Officer Wong. Captain Wong has a new direction, you know, and he's giving me a lot of support with the other officers that we have in the field to go out into the community, you know, to try and keep things as safe as possible.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Knapp.
Just on that note, I did want to send my thank yous to Captain Wong as well. It was the first interaction I had with him directly as we look at some of the speeding issues we have on North Lake, north of Altadena Drive, and I sent an email recapping a conversation I had had with a concerned citizen, and he responded immediately, and I heard from from Lieutenant
Workman.
I'm going to call him Woodward the rest of my life. I don't know why that is. Who was very engaging and mostly just interested in being out in the community and wanting to maybe engage more with citizens and where we know we have trouble spots and what have you. So it was really the first time that I had that kind of really positive interaction where there was immediate follow-up and follow-through, and I think that we will probably see something good come out of it. So
Yeah.
thank him.
I look forward to bringing you the citation stats and those other stats that were requested next month. I'll try and make it a point to bring those to you so that you can kind of see. Hopefully, with those stats comes with a reduction in traffic collisions, because I mean, that's always my goal when I come to you guys each month. I'm almost embarrassed that there's 26 traffic collisions. You know, we really want to strive to bring that number down.
To Diane's point, how are you seeing citations where it comes to texting and driving?
Well, me personally, I have like a top 4 things that I look for, and that's distracted driving. Whether it's speed, they're not wearing their seatbelt, or they're doing something in some way, shape, or form with their cell phone. You know, so those are really popular and easy violations to spot for me because I'm a little elevated riding my patrol motorcycle.
So you can see.
Yeah.
Have you seen a trend of reduction at all, or is it about the same?
It's pretty much the same.
It's pretty much the same.
I mean, there's so much technology, whether it be a cell phone or all the gadgets that come on a standard car nowadays, you know, it could be anything that people are distracted with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And any further questions from council members? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item number 3.2, Altadena Sheriff Station, Captain Stuckey. Captain, before you start, let me let the council members know that I did receive your August report. I was outside of the continental USA, so I did not get it out to the council members. So, council members, my apologies. I was outside of the continental USA, and I didn't get a chance to get it out to you.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the Altadena Town Council. So in the future, if you're going to be out of town, if you just kind of let me know, maybe I could just send it to the vice chair. Just kind of let me know. So your stats for August. First of all, I want to thank everybody that came out and supported us on National Night Out on August 7th. We had a large turnout, and thanks to all the community groups who helped us make this community event a success. Overall crime incidents for the month of August were up from 36 to 37 compared to last month. We had 1 rape this month. The suspect is known by the victim, and our Special Victims Bureau will be handling that case. Robberies remained at 1 in Census Tract 4610, and a male was arrested. Strong-arm robberies went from 1 to 0. Our aggravated assaults were up from 2 to 5. We had 1 victim that was a victim of a gunshot. We had another pistol point, and we had a stabbing. Those are all active investigations that I won't be able to share a lot of information with you, but know that we are working on all of these cases. Our domestic violence went down from 2 to 0, and our residential burglaries were up from 5 to 7. And a majority of the entry was via the rear door or a rear window. Our larceny, our grand thefts doubled. So I'm just going to remind everyone, please don't leave items unattended or items locked in your car. That's where they're coming from. Or people just leaving a cell phone and reporting it lost, laying it down. Those can account for some of our larcenies and our grand theft. Our vehicle burglaries remained at 3. And our GTAs went down from 9 to 4. And of those 4, 2 of the vehicles were recovered within 24 hours of being stolen. And they weren't recovered in our area. 1 was in an LAPD area. The other was recovered by the CHP. And as I always ask you, that if you see something, say something. Don't depend on someone else to call us, please call, and remember to always, you can always remain anonymous. Also, I gave each one of you guys a pamphlet, and it's a pamphlet that's put out by our task force for regional auto theft prevention. We call it our TRAP unit, and it's just buyer beware. If you're thinking of buying a used vehicle, believe it or not, there are culprits out there that are stealing cars and then reselling them to unknown victims. So just read through that. If you're looking to buy a used car, if the price sounds too good to be true, then it probably is, okay? So I left that with you guys. I have this electronically also. If you want me to send it to who's ever in charge of the website, I'll send it and you can post it. I have it in English and in Spanish. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Any questions from council? Councilmember Malone?
Two quick ones.
Okay.
You mentioned there was a gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any updates on the shooting that happened in the Palm Street area? I don't think it's my census tract, but I know that I got several questions about it.
I don't have anything that I would be able to share
Okay.
with you because those are active investigations.
Okay.
Okay?
And then the other thing is, there's another question I have for you, but I'm going to catch you before you leave. You're going to be staying later? No, it's not anymore.
You can call me tomorrow. You remember, I start at 7 in the morning, too.
Okay. No, because I can catch you right now.
Okay, we can talk offline, okay? Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Jones?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to you, your team for showing up also. It made a big difference, and the parents and the school was able to come together. And I think you guys being there made a big difference.
And as I always tell everyone in the community, if you're having an event that you'd like me or a representative, you have to let us know in advance, and I'll make it a strong effort to either be there or send a representative.
That was good. Thank you.
Yes. At least 2 or 3 weeks, because we have standard items that we have to attend every month, and then we have to spread everything else around.
Okay, no further questions? Thank you so much, Captain.
All right, thank you.
Item number 3.3, and that will be county fire. And
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Maria
Okay,
is not able to make it tonight, who you would normally see. I'm obviously not Maria. My name's Pat Rohaley. I'm Battalion Chief here in Battalion 4. Battalion 4 basically goes from Eaton Canyon to Cagle Canyon, and Altadena is a portion of that. So as far as activities for the month of August, in Altadena, the firefighters responded to 299 responses. Of that, 245 were medical calls, where 191 of those were transported to the hospital, either with basic life support or advanced life support through the paramedics. There were 4 fires in the month of August, and they varied. A small contents fire within a structure, but no damages to the structure. And then beyond that, a structure fire on Santa Rosa Avenue in a detached garage, which destroyed that garage. Significant damage to that. There was some minor exposure damage to the home. There was another fire I believe you talked about last meeting, was a small brush fire. It's actually in the city of Pasadena. And Maria did tell me that she addressed that last meeting. Other than National Night Out, that's pretty much the activities that the firefighters responded to in the month of August. Ms. Wong, to answer your question, I hope that the information you were looking for vehicle versus pedestrian incidents, I actually have the information of the 2 that we responded to. And one was on Fair Oaks and Woodbury, and the other was on Woodbury and Lincoln. Okay? Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, Councilmember Sutherlen.
I have to admit that I don't remember how often we've seen gas leaks on the list, but simply because of, yeah, well, exactly. Simply because of what we've seen on the news in the last few days.
Okay.
As far as those, since there are several on here, I just wondered, is this common? The number that we've got here, 1, 2.
Some of the gas leaks we've been seeing, I can't speak to all of them, but a few of the ones that I've responded to actually coincide with a contractor who's been working on some electrical power poles. And as they're digging, they've actually done the dig first, the scanning of the ground to determine where lines are located, and through dig alert, those types of things, and they're still hitting gas lines within the curb line or the sidewalk area. So there's obviously some errant signaling going on within the metering, but that has been the cause of a couple of them that we've seen just this last month. Yeah. But I can't speak to
We're all
any
really
other
aware
system-wide.
after watching the
Yeah,
terrible news.
we haven't seen or had any kind of briefings from the gas company as far as any area or regional issues.
Thank you.
Okay.
A question from Councilmember
Sorry, I just
Markison.
heard you say, along the curbs and all of that, and that it was that these gas leaks were a surprise, right? Because they thought they knew where they were. And I guess I'm just concerned about if you think that, or if somebody thinks we should take extra caution when we're digging up New York Drive.
Oh, I would certainly advise anytime you're going to dig in your yard, you employ the resources to determine where any service lines are.
Right, but you said somebody checked, and did you say that the problems were near the curb or the sidewalk?
It was near between the curb and the sidewalk, in the little grass strip, right next to a wooden power pole that was being extracted.
Okay, I think I'll just make a note to talk to county about that, because that's what we're going to be doing on New
Yeah,
York Drive.
one of the issues we're going to run up against is the age of the communities and when utilities were installed, what mapping is available versus what technology can try to find those. And at best, the technology is working off of response, signal response. So they're trying to measure density, they're trying to measure some resonance off of that. So they can't physically see it until they uncover it. So
Right,
there can be a variance within the signaling and the identification of an exact location.
Okay, but they must be maybe deeper than what any digging is going to be for New York Drive. So I'll check with them, right?
Okay.
They must be deep, right? If we can't see them?
The codes for the depth of utilities, the different utilities from electric to water to gas, even in newer communities, you know, your communication lines, those have changed over the years. So
Okay.
I really couldn't speak with.
I see. Okay, thanks. Thanks for your time.
Mhm.
Any further questions from council? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 3.4, and that will be CERT. And we bring you back again, Deb.
Battalion Chief, 1 second. Yes. In relation to what you were saying about the gas lines, we have a kind of a grassroots movement in Altadena. It's called Map Your Neighborhood, Altadena Map Your Neighborhood. And one of the things they're trying to do is find all the utility lines in every neighborhood. When you map your neighborhood, one of the things we do is we map the utility lines and the depth whenever we can find out. So if you were able to help us, if you had any resources that could tell us the depths of different years, or if you could just point us in the right direction, that would really help all of us.
Anytime we have any conversation of dealing with utilities, we go solely to the utility company, the owners of the utility, who would have that information. We have no records, no database of that.
Okay, well thank you, that's very good information. We'll do that. Thank you, sir. And I think, Diane, maybe that helps all of us, huh? We should really do that. Yeah, Boston was terrible, just terrible. Okay, back to CERT. I'm Deb. Hello, everybody. In July, we discussed treating heat exhaustion. If you remember, July was horrid. So that's part of what we did, was we practiced heat exhaustion. We talked about what to do with people that might be experiencing that, et cetera. And in August, we didn't have our meeting because we encouraged all CERT members to go to National Night Out. So it was the day before the normal meeting, and that's what we did for August. And in September, which was just last week, we talked about earthquake preparedness and response, especially since just a few weeks ago we had a small, what was it, a 4.6, right, in Altadena, just to remind us that, well, we live on top of a lot of magma here. And I would also like to tell you that on Wednesday, September 26th, we are doing the Altadena CERT. We're doing a power breakfast for the Altadena Chamber of Commerce. And I invite you all to come. Deputy Dan Page and I will be speaking about simple disaster preparedness for mom and pop Altadena businesses, or just about any businesses. Are there any questions?
Any questions from council? Okay, Councilmember Knapp.
The date, time, and location of the power breakfast?
It's on Wednesday, September 26th. It's at the Altadena Town and Country Club, and it's from 8 a.m. to 9:30.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Deb. General public comments. I'll turn it over to to Councilmember Sutherlen, Vice Chair.
Hey, Linda World.
Hi, my name is Linda World. I live in Altadena, and I'm here on behalf of Neighbors Building a Better Altadena. I've handed out 2 flyers to the council members on the chairs tonight, and these are both about, I'm speaking about the Altadena Library District Board of Trustees election, and we also were at the Resource Fair Saturday and found that most people still don't know that the library district election will be on the ballot on November 6th, so we really need help getting the word out on that, and hope that council people will send to their constituents if you use email lists and that sort of thing. And meanwhile, here today I handed out 2 things. We have a new list, which is really great, that because in addition to voting, you need to know who you're voting for, and it's not exactly something that you can read about in the LA Times. So we have a list of all 7 candidates. Let's see, was it 7? No, sorry, 8. 8 candidates for 2 positions, and you'll vote for 2 in each, 2 for 2-year terms and 2 for 4-year terms. All of the candidates but 1 have responded to the MBBA's request to attend their candidate forum. That's on October 6th, and that's what this flyer is about. Or, I'm sorry, it's on October 3rd, Wednesday, and that'll be here at the community center. So of the 6 who responded, 5 of them have said they'll be here, and so we really hope that we'll have good turnout for that on October 3rd. And I also found from the resource fair that the Friends of the Library will have another, if you can't make October 3rd, they'll have another forum on, I think it's October 26th. I'm not sure about the date on that, but it's 24th, okay, later in the month. But the nice thing is that 5 of these candidates have set up, 5 of 8 have set up, websites. And the URLs are on this piece of paper, so you can go and kind of read about them. And I think that's it. Any questions? Oh, wait, I don't do questions. Send you email.
Yes, I can.
To the vice chair,
Yeah, we'll get it
and then we'll
around.
get it out.
Oh, yeah, okay, I should do that to all of you, right? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you so much. And moving on to the next one.
Ann Higginbottom.
Good evening. I'm Ann Hickenbottom, representing your Assembly Member Chris Holden this evening. Greetings I bring to you all and to the community of Altadena. I just have two quick announcements that he wanted you to know about. On Monday, he announced the opening of his application process for the annual Young Legislators Program. This is a 6-month program introducing young people to the political and public policy arena, and it's open to all high school seniors that live in District 41. The application is online. We don't have handouts yet, but you can go to his website at www.asmdc.org/Holden and find out more information about it. The applications are not due until November 21st, so your young people have plenty of time to apply. If they have questions about it, they're always free to contact the office. Secondly, on October 11th, the Assembly member will be hosting an informational hearing through the Select Committee on Regional Transportation Solutions. This will be held Thursday, October 11th. It is at 10 a.m. and it is in Rancho Cucamonga. It will be live streamed if you're interested in observing it that way. And I put flyers for that event at each of the council members' seat, and I also have flyers in the back for the rest of the community on the piano. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nestor De La Torre.
Shall we give you 1 minute?
I feel like I should get double the time, you know? I don't know. Well, thank you for having me. Well, I'm glad to be back, Mr. Chair, council members. I'm here on behalf of, in my new position, Day One, a nonprofit located in Pasadena. We're starting our Assemble Altadena Coalition. Tomorrow, we're going to be having our second monthly meeting. It'll be here in the community center. I invited you guys to the first one and to this one, but someone mentioned, I think Veronica, she emailed me saying that it went to her spam, so maybe it gone to your spam. But ironically, her response was also in my spam, so I didn't see that until after. It was a whole thing. But yeah, so I'm here in person. I put a flyer out for all of you guys, and again, so if you can't make it tomorrow, might be short notice, this will be an ongoing thing. And for the people in the community, it's a coalition that we're looking to build focus groups of issues that deal with alcohol, drugs, and other safety issues, particularly amongst our youth. So hopefully we will get together with people from a range of backgrounds, from educators, parents, youth, healthcare providers, mental health professionals, substance abuse prevention people, and just kind of discuss what the issues are specifically to Altadena and how we can go about addressing them. And seeing as Day One has been around for over 30 years in Pasadena, we have a record of getting the resources that once we figure out the issue in something, we get the resources and hopefully we can address those issues. So this is the first step in just gathering the data to make sure to talk to people in Altadena about what the issues are, and then that way in the future we can maybe write a grant or get some other resources that's specific to the needs of Altadena residents. Thank you.
A question for you. What time tomorrow?
Oh, so sorry. Tomorrow it's going to be 6 to 7:30 p.m. here in this room. Dinner and refreshments will be provided. And if you're interested about learning more, not just for this one or future meetings, my email is Nestor, Nestor, @goday1.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Patrick Callahan? Oh, Cahalan? I got the Patrick right.
Good evening. No, I'm sorry, I'm used to these being right at the right level. Good evening, Town Council, Chair, Vice Chair, officers. I come to you tonight in the unusual position of not being a constituent to talk about something that your constituents can't directly vote on as a public policy measure. I am the Vice President of the Pasadena Unified School District, and I'm here just to give you all and your constituents an opportunity to pick up my email address, and if they're interested in learning more about Measure I and Measure J that are on the Pasadena city ballot coming up in November. I recognize that Altadena residents will not be voting on this measure. However, it does, since the sales tax in Pasadena does directly impact many of your residents because they shop and do business in Pasadena. But also, there are many public school parents in Altadena, and some chunk of the revenue may be going to the school district. We've had many questions from constituents about how we plan on spending this money, and it certainly won't fit in a 2-minute public comment period. But if you're interested and you want more detail, my email address is CAHALAN.Patrick, Patrick, at pusd.us. So that's my district email. I can't actually advocate for the sales tax measure using that address, but if you contact me through that one, I can reply through appropriate channels. Also, brief plug, I'm a Pasadena resident, but I joined CERT many years ago through the Altadena Sheriff's Department, and I recommend this being the approach of wildfire season and us being in Southern California, earthquakes are always prevalent, that everyone take the opportunity to avail themselves of that training because I found that it is useful. So that's it. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions or you would like me to come back and make an agendized presentation, I'm happy to do it or speak to the education chair. I recognize that the district has not always done a great job of reaching out to all of its partner governance bodies within the boundaries, and as vice president, I'm happy to do my part to remedy that. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick.
Joan Rebeck.
Thank you very much. I'm Joan Rebeck. I am on the Leadership Council for Neighbors Building a Better Altadena, and we have an important meeting coming up this Saturday, September 22nd, that I hope all of you will attend. We've been following our treasured library very closely in the situation there, and we feel that it is really important that the people of Altadena have a better understanding, because we have our own district, of our library and the way it works. So in order to further that, we have invited Robert Karatsu, and I just want to tell you a little bit about him, to speak at the meeting. Robert Karatsu is the Library Director Emeritus, aka retired, of the Rancho Cucamonga Public Library, which he led to winning the 2013 National Medal for Museum and Library Services. He's also a past president of the California Library Association, has done a stint as the interim director of the Pasadena Public Library, and is currently on the adjunct faculty of the UCLA Graduate School of Education and Information Science, where he teaches the public libraries course. So this will be invaluable, and we hope all of you, but at least many of you, will come. Also on the agenda is an update on public safety issues, so thank you, Veronica, and information about some renewed civic engagement energy on our Altadena Town Council. Thank you, Pat. And so for this meeting, we check in at 9 o'clock, networking. Business begins at 9:30, and we would be grateful to each and every one on the town council if you could send out some kind of notice and encourage your census tract constituents to attend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jason Capel.
Good evening, everyone. Jason Capel, I'm actually one of the candidates for the Library Board of Trustees. I wanted to come tonight and echo our friends at NBBA on the importance of everybody participating in this election. There's over 29,000 registered voters in Altadena. Only about 3,000 voted in the last board election. So clearly we have a lot of work to do to improve that. So just want to echo and encourage everybody to come on Saturday and also come to both of the forums. Thank you.
Thank you so much and good luck.
Melody Winter.
Good evening. I'm Melanie Winter. I'm the founder and director of a nonprofit organization called the River Project. I'm going to pass around 2 different brochures for the members. One explains our organization. We're a nonprofit that works on watershed management. We've been working in LA for 20-something years. And the other is a brochure on the Water LA program. And I wanted to let you know tonight that we've been hanging around for the last 4 or 5 months, coming to various community events and meeting many of you, the Neighbors Building a Better Altadena, which is a wonderful organization, the Altadena Heritage Group, the Eco Breakfast, Safe Streets meetings, our watershed event, the Beer Fest. And we're going to be at the pop-up this weekend. It's really exciting for us to be working in Altadena. It's kind of our dream community. We have the opportunity to, through a grant from Prop 84, which many of you, well, you all voted on, I'm sure, one way or the other, many years ago. This is the last of the Prop 84 money from the Department of Water Resources at the state. We're doing this in partnership with the County of Los Angeles and many other nonprofit organizations who are active in this community, Amigos de los Rios, Day One we've been iterating with, and some local residents here who have small businesses as well. So this is a very collaborative effort. The Water LA program is designed to help residents capture, conserve, and reuse water on their own properties. These simple retrofits like rain tanks, which I'm sure you've seen, and rain gardens, and rain grading, and permeable surfaces, and things like that you can do at home. One of the things we're focusing on here also is the parkway basins, the curb cuts, so that the stormwater coming down the street can take a detour into your parkway. We do a basin there. That helps reduce flood risk downstream. It also helps recharge the Raymond groundwater basin, helps to clean up water quality, and it supports street trees. So we're going to be doing some home retrofits and some parkway basin retrofits in this community. Initially, we thought, or we may still be limited to working in certain census tracts. And we've been talking to folks who are in charge of these census tracts, but we may have an opportunity to expand out to all of Altadena, and we'll know that soon. And we really hope so, because we would be able to do not only the parkway work, but also the full home retrofits. And everybody who participates chooses what they want to do at home. We work with you to help make that happen at no cost to you. You learn how to design and install and maintain these things. You save money on your water bills, and you can build a beautiful landscape that is climate resilient and attracts pollinators and smells great and looks gorgeous, and all those great things. You are probably aware that Measure W is coming up on the ballot in the fall, and you may or may not know that it will be an increase in your property tax based on your impervious surfaces. So folks who participated in this program would see a lower increase in their property tax than someone who had a property covered in concrete. The reason it's based on your... Pardon?
Try as much as possible to wrap up.
Oh, it's not a huge amount, considering most. I think they were saying it's less than $75 for an average property per year in the county for residential properties. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, try to wrap up if you have something to...
So this would help, this would be a good benefit for that. For those who participated, they would see their tax down lower, and for those who just want to learn about how to do that later, they would see that as well. So we hope to come back and make a full presentation, perhaps next month or when you have an opening, because we'll be starting to mobilize and be more present and get active here soon. And feel free to reach out with any questions. I wanted to introduce Zoe Axelrod there, who is also part of the team here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's all of the public comment.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilmember Sutherlen. And going on to the special presentation, and we have item number 5.2, I'm sorry, 5.1, and that is fences and hedges registration. And, okay, this was supposed to be Alex Garcia, but,
It'll be me. We like you too.
okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yvette Huynh, and Alex Garcia is actually sitting in the back of the room. We are both from the Department of Regional Planning, and I am one of the zoning enforcement inspectors for Altadena. And I'm here today to give everyone a friendly reminder about the fence registration opportunity. As you guys might already know, the development standards for fences, walls, and hedges for Altadena has recently been relaxed as part of the CSC update. And so earlier this year, we came and gave a thorough presentation on what those new standards are. And so I'm not going to go over them today, but I did bring some flyers that summarizes those standards, and they're right in the back by the piano. But what I did want to talk to you about is the fence registration component of the CSD update. And this registration, as a friendly reminder, applies only to fences, walls, and hedges in the front yard, and they have to be existing, and they have to be on your private property, so nothing that is inadvertently in the public right-of-way. And so what this program, or what this registration is about, is if you happen to have an overheight fence, wall, or a hedge, there's still hope to keeping it for 15 years if you register it. So it's until 2034. And so essentially, your fence would be protected from zoning enforcement from me. So, and so what I mean from that is we are a complaint-driven agency. So if somebody files a complaint about your fence being too tall and it doesn't meet the development standards, I go ahead and verify whether or not that fence is registered. And if it is, then I leave it alone. But if it isn't registered, then I actually have to open up a case and start the enforcement process, and you'd have to bring that fence to compliance immediately. If this registration is going to if this registration is going to benefit you, if you feel that if it will benefit you, please register as soon as possible, because it is a limited time opportunity. You only have until April 1st, 2019 to register. And it's going to come up really quickly. We're already halfway through the registration period. This registration process is designed to be user-friendly. It's a short application. You could apply in person or online. And last but not least, it's a free registration, so you don't have anything to lose. So with that said, the registration forms are also on the piano. If you have any questions, Alex and I will be outside in the lobby for a few minutes to answer any questions you might have. And that's it. Thanks for having us.
Okay, hold on one moment. Councilmember Marcuson has a question.
Yes.
Okay, so if you go through the process and you find that somebody's fence, hedge, or wall is in the public right-of-way, you're also not going after those people, right? You're not enforcing, right? Okay.
Yeah, so that's dealt with the Department of Public Works. So, and I don't believe that they are, if you want to add. Yeah.
Okay.
Not.
Okay. And so I've heard that there are people out there waiting until after the 1st of April to report a bunch of illegal fences and hedges. Mm-hmm. Have you heard that?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
I did hear that, so.
So
register your fence or hedge or wall. I mean, I can drive down New York Drive and see a whole bunch of them. So if you live near a neighbor and you know, if you have a neighbor that has a problem, if you look on Santa Anita, for example, it looks like the fences are way far away from the road. They're on the property lines. I just really want to encourage everybody to pursue it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Malone.
Despite the fact that we've talked about this for years,
Yeah.
and despite the fact that we've gotten messages out there, and despite the fact that we've done everything we can, and your department, and everything, I continuously hear of people that know nothing about this or the registration. And I was in a meeting last week where somebody actually mentioned that, you know, their family members moved around here and they love Altadena because they're a contractor and you can build what you like.
Oh, no.
I cringed. I don't know what contractor is, I don't know the name, but I cringed when I heard that. But there's obviously a large, large portion of the population that are thinking that way or feel that way. Other than what we've been trying to do, other than the cards that you've been sending out, what else can we say that's happening to get the message out from the department?
Well, so we're continuously going to public events, like Parks After Dark, and you know we are going to as many meetings as we can. We sent the postcard to all of the residential properties that are affected by or that could benefit from this. So we sent like 13,000 postcards earlier this year. So we'll kind
Are you
of.
going to do more mailings on top of that? And, you
It is a possibility. It is a possibility.
and media outreach as well, so we can
Oh
refer
yes,
people to
and of course,
media.
social media. We that is also part of our plan to put it out there. Yes.
Maybe you could, from a land use perspective, maybe you could let us know, my committee know kind of what your plans are, and we'll get it out to everybody here and make sure they know what your next steps are.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sanyika, leave my mic hot, please.
Yes, I just want to get clarification
Yes.
on this. If that fence or hedge is on the side of your yard, does that still apply?
If it's part of the front yard, then yes. If it's part of, so you have the ones that are, right in front of your home, and then the ones that are going up the side, but as long as it's in the front yard, then that is also part of this, this registration. But for the corner lots, it's a little bit different. I mean, it's still just the front yard, but so it's not so it doesn't count the very back side, just the part that is considered part of the front yard. Yes.
Councilmember Knapp.
Do you have an update as to how many people have registered so far?
13.
13.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the mic, please. Thank you.
Website. Everybody can go onto the regional planning website, which Alex Garcia is going to tell you what the URL is. But there is, the handout is there. You can see diagrams of what is and isn't covered on, what is and isn't. They have corner lots. You can see whether, but they also, you can contact the county and they'll help you figure out where your fence is. So if you have a 6-foot fence around your yard and it happens to be visible from the street, I would call.
Councilmember.
You were here during the melee. Yes. Yep.
Councilmember Jones.
Can you download the flyer to actually hand to people?
Yeah, it's actually available on our website. Yes.
It's a PDF on the website.
It is a PDF, and then I have some in the back. Yes. Yes.
I've sent it out to my email list.
Councilmember Wong.
So this is more of a comment, but I will definitely put it on the website.
The mic, please. Thank
on
you.
the website, so that I can have it downloadable. I will post it and put it at the very top of our
It may already be
website.
there.
Yeah, but I'll put it up at the top for a while. And maybe we can just sort of work out a timing with what you guys are doing social media wise and just expand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions from council?
Oh, do you want to give us the URL, Alex Garcia?
Good evening. My name is Alex Garcia. I'm with Regional Planning as well. Thank you for having us here. I just wanted to add a couple more things. We are very concerned that there's only 13 registrations, but we do know, and I hope everybody knows, that this is to the benefit of the community. This is the benefit of your own property, and it's not benefiting us. And I know there's a lot of misconceptions that it's going to benefit us for whatever agenda we have. We don't have an agenda. This was asked by your group, and this is what we came up with, okay? This is to help you out, and it's to protect your fence for the next 15 years. But it's also after the 15 years, it's for us to try to get these fences into compliance. We tried several times to use social media. There's a lot of roadblocks with the county using social media. We do have a Facebook account, but for some reason we don't have too many followers. So even if we put it on our Facebook account, not too many people are going to see it. We try to pay Facebook to shoot out some advertisements here and there, especially in the targeted area like here. But we also found that because Facebook is not one of our vendors, we couldn't use that and we couldn't do it. So if you have an opportunity to use social media as well, I encourage you to use social media on your pages. You probably have more followers than we do. So post it on there. We have flyers, we have applications. The other thing that we also did is we're accepting the applications. And if it happens to be that they're not on the private property, then we just send the property owner a little note saying, you know, unfortunately yours is not going to be protected because it's not in the private property. But we're not gonna reject your application. Just go ahead and submit the application, and then let our planners do the processing, and they'll let you know whether or not they're protected.
Chair.
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp.
So that was part of my question. So if someone is unsure if their fence or wall or hedge qualifies under the new guidelines of the CSD, they should err on the side of caution. They should submit the application. A planner is going to review their application. And if it doesn't pertain at all, will they hear back either way? I guess
Yes.
is my point.
Either way, you get it
Either way,
done.
they're going
Right.
to hear back.
Right.
Okay.
In saying that, if they hear back in a negative way that you're not in compliance and you can't register, at that point you're not taking action because nobody's complaining.
Right. It's not used for us to go back and make an assessment of the property.
Well, you only get rejected if you're in the county right away, right? I mean.
Well, if you're in the county right away, or if you're in compliance. If
Yeah,
you're in compliance.
right, if you're already in
Right.
compliance. If your fence, hedge or wall is on private property and non-compliant at the moment, they'll come back to you and say, thanks, we've registered you, you got 15 years to fix the problem.
Right.
But if it's in the right of way, then you'll say, sorry, it's in the right of way, just so you know,
Right.
you're in the right of way. So
Right.
if they were to come widen Altadena Drive or something, and, you know, the Public Works has the right to take that property.
Right. Public Works has the right to go and take action on it.
Yeah.
But there are other cases around that. I mean, there's cases where somebody may have a 7-foot fence or wall, and they have power going to it with lights on the top, and they didn't get building permits. Now they go to register it, and they're like, well, now you're telling me I have to tear it down because it's 7 feet and it's got electrical on it? I mean, my question is,
No,
we have to be fearful
if it's on private property and it qualifies for registration, it'll be protected for the next 15 years.
And if it isn't, you're not going to cite them at that point?
No.
Only if there's a
No,
claim?
no. Public Works has also committed to coming out only if they have to widen the road, they have to make improvements, or if they have to come out and address the issue. But there is no
Yeah,
proactive
what Billy
enforcement
is-
for it.
What Billy is saying, let's not skip over that, right? What Billy is saying is, I'm going to send anyway, in my neighborhood. So there are 6-foot fences that also have electricity lights hanging off of them, right?
Right.
Which may or may not have building permits, but you're not going to check the building
No.
permits, right? You're going to look at the picture and say, yep, okay, we're going to put you in the thing. That's not what you're going to be doing.
Right, we don't have an agenda
Unless
for
somebody
this.
comes
The
along and
whole-
complains about, now, if the fence is registered, but it's dangerously tall or has illegal lights in it and somebody complains, then they will be enforced, right? Because building and safety would
Right,
be
if it poses
upset
a
about
danger,
it.
yes, then it will be addressed.
Okay.
You just don't want someone...
But only after somebody complains and...
Yes.
Okay.
You just don't want someone fearful of registering.
They shouldn't
because
be.
they're
They
worried
shouldn't
about it's
be.
not compliant because of other things.
We have estimated that there are close to 13,000 residential properties in Altadena. And out of the 13,000, I would assume that half of those would
Right.
qualify to register.
Yep.
And we've only got 13.
We have 13, right.
So we also want to make sure that when we get the registrations, we have time to process these registrations. So we don't want to get them all
At the
in
last
March.
minute, yeah.
Right.
So please, send the word around, use your social media. I know you have more followers than we do. Use your Instagram, use whatever you need to use, and hopefully the word will get around.
Councilmember Knapp?
So a couple comments about that with social media. If you post it and we see it because we're a follower, then it's easier for us to share your post
Yes.
than for me necessarily to create a post from scratch because
Right.
you're going to have the links and what have you. So post it anyway,
Sounds
and
good.
we'll follow you and
Okay.
share it that way.
Right, follow us, Department
Follow
of
you.
Regional Planning.
Speak for yourself. I'm not.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then secondly, if your non-compliant hedge is registered and someone complains, are you notified at all that there was a complaint, just so that you know that you have awareness? Even so, if I'm a homeowner and I have a fence, then I'm going to register, and then after this registration period is over, someone complains about my fence to you. Am I going to at least be notified that a complaint was filed, even if I'm not required to do anything about it?
Not necessarily, no.
Not
If
necessarily.
we go out and we see, I mean, most fences are in the public right of view, so we can go out there, make an assessment and see, okay, this is registered, it doesn't pose a danger, and we're gonna leave it alone. And that's
Okay.
it, but you probably won't be notified.
You probably won't know. Okay.
And that's the normal process that
Right.
they do,
Okay.
right? If they go out and they say, oh, no, this isn't really a problem.
They're not going to say anything.
Right.
Okay, and then one last question with regards to the process for what happens if you're not registered. If you're not registered, if your fence or non-conforming hedge or whatever isn't registered and someone complains, is there a fine or it's just a fix? You've got to fix it, or is there a fine, or how does the process work?
Yeah, so if you're not registered and after the registration date, someone complains and we go see that the violation exists, there is a process. Our process starts at a notice of violation, which is basically a courtesy notice telling you have 30 days to address the issue. And to address the issue, you could mean, I'm going to submit plans to see if I can get this approved. Or it could mean, I'm going to start, getting this wall down, or whatever the case might be. Then after that, if they ignore us, if they don't do anything about it, we move on to the next steps. And the next steps are basically a series of fines. Eventually, the case may get to the district attorney's office, but I don't see any of these cases where the district attorney might take a case seriously and take it to court. But there is fines, and I think the fines are pretty hefty that might encourage these people to comply.
And if they don't pay the fines, do you lien their houses?
No, we don't lien the properties, but it does sort of cloud the title.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
And lastly, is there a possibility to work with Department of Public Works to fix it? Meaning, can the resident, instead of using their own contractor, use somebody from Public Works to help them?
if it's on the private property?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not from Public Works, and I don't want to speak
Okay.
for them, but I don't think they do that.
Okay.
Right.
Was that your last one?
Yeah,
Billy
okay,
has a question,
Councilmember Malone.
I don't want, are you finished? I don't want to. Okay. That just brings me to something else. It's fences and hedges.
Correct.
Now, if
And
somebody
walls.
registers their hedge, and it's 5 feet tall, and it's registered, hedges grow. They have an RV or something they want to hide, somebody complains, you come back, that hedge is 9 feet tall. Do they have to take it back to what they complied for registration?
No, obviously,
Or is there a leeway?
we consider that. I mean, if there's a hedge that's 5 feet tall and then it grows up to 9 feet, I don't see much of a difference there.
Okay.
But we do have inspectors, they'll take, upon their own discretion, they'll see whether or not they need to have them cut it down. But for the most part, more than likely, they won't ask them to cut it down.
Thank you.
URL Facebook,
Excuse me?
URL at Facebook?
Yes, we're on the Facebook.
No, what's the URL
So what's-
again?
oh.
LA County, whatever.
Los Angeles County Department of Regional Planning.
No. planning.lacounty.gov/Altadena.
Well, Facebook, you just probably search for. Right. You can probably just search for Los Angeles County Department of Regional Planning
On Facebook.
on Facebook.
And the URL is planning, right?
Yes.
Planning
Planning.lacounty.gov.
/Altadena.
Yes. Thanks, Diane.
That's how you find our stuff, if you're looking for it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming, and hopefully you'll get a few thousands.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Sure.
Item number 5.2, that will be the 2018 Altadena Homeless Count findings. And Daniela.
Hi, good evening, Town Council. My name is Daniela Alcedo. I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for Service Planning Area 3, which is most of the San Gabriel Valley region at the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority. So I just handed out a printout of our PowerPoint regarding our 2018 results. I also wanted to really thank Judy Matthews for really helping and move forward with the count. She made it a really large community event. She was able to get donations from Assemblymember Holden, Congresswoman Judy Chu, Pasadena Tournament of Roses, and even get some tickets donated for the Rose Bowl. So she's done a really great job, and I want to thank her and thank the Town Council for their support for the homeless count, and looking forward to 2019 support. So the document is quite lengthy, but I wanted just to direct you to page 3, where it addresses, and from page 3 to about page 7, it addresses the strategies of Measure H and how they are being implemented to really help those that are experiencing homelessness move out and into homes. And so with that, we have seen more people of this year moving into homes than in 2017. And we've also been able to really address chronic homelessness by really having a system in place that for those that are in much need for resources like mental health or addiction or just disabilities, that they have access to those resources as soon as possible depending on their severity. So we've been able to really address more of the chronic homelessness. So moving forward on page 6, it also mentions although there are some great results, we are also still seeing that more people are falling into homelessness for the first time. We find that in our 2018 results because there are a lack of shelter or housing and permanent supportive housing and any kind of those programs. Most of our homeless population is unsheltered. So for LA County on page 7, that's a 75% unsheltered population, so it's more visible to the community. So on page 8 is the findings for Service Planning Area 3, which is San Gabriel, which is also part of Altadena. So although countywide there had been a decrease, a slight decrease of those experiencing homelessness, we actually saw a 3% increase in the region. So a lot of that would be increases overall, and some of the charts and demographic information shows we'll have more details on that. But one thing I wanted to bring to your attention on page 10 regarding the age, we have actually seen countywide and here an increase of senior citizens falling into homelessness for the first time. And so we've seen a dramatic increase in this region by 116% from 2017 to 2018. And then also on page 11 regarding gender, we have also saw an increase in females that by 30% from 2017. So more, this year we found more females. So on the very last page, page 13 is the 2018 results for Altadena, for the census tracts of Altadena. There actually was a decrease here by less than 8 people. So in 2017, you can see the number is 64. And then in 2018, the number was 56. And this is a number that not only involves the street count that is conducted that night, but also any shelters or vouchers or any programs that are used here in the city of Altadena, or that may be a service provider, such as Union Station Homeless Services. They might have access to vouchers for hotels here. So that's also, so those two numbers are incorporated into here. So it will explain that the 56 out of that, 31 are unsheltered, and 25 of this year were in some sort of shelter or housing program. And then just, again, lastly, the very last page, page 15, it's really important. We are working with a lot of county partners, Department of Mental Health, Public Health, a lot of other nonprofits, United Way, our local providers such as Union Station Homeless Services to really address homelessness, and everybody has also taken on their own campaign or program to move forward. So just having that conversation and hosting something like that is really important. So these list some ways about how to get involved, how to get your community involved, how to get involved with United Way's Everyone In campaign. And although 2019 is a few months away, we are starting to plan for the count already, which will be on January 22nd. I've already reached out to somebody over here to work on getting a site for the night of the count, and hope we continue that partnership. So thank you. I leave it open for questions. Yes.
Okay, Councilmember Malone.
A few of us here have been involved in the count year after year for the
Yes.
homeless. I'm just wondering on the Altadena numbers that you've stated here, does that include just the city? Because we have a large population in the forest areas and above Altadena. This is just within the city, not including the encampments up in the parks, correct?
It would be the census tract image that is shown on page, I believe, 13. So there are some forest, and we do work with the forest rangers on this to count all of the forest. So whatever they report back. So I don't think that was anything that was reported back from them. But it could also be seasonal. Sometimes, we do count when it's a colder season. So people that might normally be camping when the weather is really cold, maybe at that point they might have access to a church or a service, or a shelter. So, it could be also that people just move around, and you might see more in the summertime versus in the wintertime. That could also lead up to, we are only counting that one night, and so if there's nothing there that night from the forest that we get reported back, then it's a 0. But we work with the forest department to get this. Yeah.
Councilmember Sutherlen.
And just so y'all know, Dorothy has the, Dorothy,
Go ahead.
I'll speak loudly. Dorothy has the PowerPoint.
Yes.
So she'll post it on the web.
Yeah.
Our website.
Okay, Councilmember Robertson.
Hello. So in the last few days in the press, there was reporting on a new criticism of the methodology, suggesting that you may be undercounting. And the response from LASA was that there is already a look at the methodology underway, working with USC to take a look at how to maybe modify that in the interest of accuracy. Do you have any sense as to whether or not that's any potential changes to how you count or tabulate at the end? Will that be in place for this January, which is coming up pretty quick?
I'm not quite sure about that, so I can ask with our data team, but from what I understand is we are still, like, we still work with our HUD definition of what is homelessness as well, so that could be also very restricting. Like the Office of Education has a different definition of homelessness, and we really kind of, that does limit us in that way. But I think that's also why it's really important to have more of these partnerships or stronger partnerships to understand that what is a population that might not be homeless yet, but could be on the brinks of falling into homelessness, and then, or that is couch surfing or doubling up in someone else's house. So we always look to increase those partnerships just to see how we can really enhance the methodology in the future, in the years to come. But I can bring that back to our data team as well and see what will be done. But from what I understand, we still will continue moving forward with the count, how we do, because it is a very, it's a very like complicated way to count individuals that are experiencing homelessness that are not in a shelter program. So shelters or in some sort of vouching program or something with their, that's easier to count the night of, but when so many people are unsheltered and then also on the brinks or like might be sleeping in a garage, a parking garage, there will always be a margin of error, but we are pretty confident that it's a very low margin of error. So.
Okay, then I have a question. I think this will be the final one for you. We don't have to look far to see that there is an issue with homelessness in LA, Pasadena, Altadena. Everywhere we look, there is something. We go count, then what? When you look at the data that is presented, is a mental, substance abuse, medical. That's why they are homeless. So what's the process or the plan to be able to deal with the fundamental issues?
Yeah.
To be able to
And unfortunately, there are going to be people that are very vulnerable that might have some sort of disability, a substance abuse, or a mental health issue that they might not be able to fully take care of themselves ever in their life. And they need a lot what is called like wraparound services, which is like from the service provider focus and frame is not only giving the person stable housing and a caseworker, but maybe always constant 24/7 monitoring of whether that's a mental health evaluation or just living on site where there's actually a caseworker. So for example, actually it's called permanent supportive housing. So these are programs that are really launched by a lot of our service providers, and they are under the care of service providers that work in homelessness. So those are actually things that are much more needed in our community, and just having that advocate and that voice or being the town council that says we would be interested in opening up a site or locating a site here to really address those that are very vulnerable. And those people could also be the ones that have been living on the street for 20 years. And so their view of reality, or what we see as reality, is very different too. So there's a lot of assimilation. It's going to also be very hard for those that have been on the streets for a very long time to kind of come back and just say, here's your house, and expect everything to go normal, whatever that is for them. So having these kind of services and permanent supportive housing programs are really important, but they're not, unfortunately, a lot. And so what we can really do with the data is I just present, and it depends on the advocate on how they want to move forward with that data and say, we need to address this, and it could be many ways, and one of it could be permanent supportive housing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 5.3, and that will be sustainable front yard retrofits, and that will be from Ms. Robinson.
Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Claire Robinson. I'm a resident of Altadena. May I pass that around? Pardon me. I have a 13-year-old, so I had to do some proper bed setting before coming here. But I am delighted to be here to talk to you about some urban greening opportunities and kind of tag teaming with Melanie Winter from the River Project, who spoke during public comment. She has been working on the LA River watershed, and part of Altadena goes into the LA River, and we have been working on the St. Gabriel River watershed. So it's really exciting that our groups are converging, and some great stuff will be happening in Altadena starting this year. So we worked with Altadena Heritage on the Triangle project across the street. There's still some items to finish up there, but it's serving and setting a nice new standard. We are very we admire a great deal the tree canopy in Pasadena and would like to make sure that our tree canopy is comprehensive and on the major arterials and missing areas, because it makes such a big difference. The heat island reduction and air quality and water resources, the health of the soil. We all know Altadena is kind of like, you're living like that all the time. So when it rains, it pours, and we want to make sure that our landscapes are all receptacles for local water and infiltration and have a certain beauty that comes from the texture of the upper watershed and the forest. So the map that I passed out, we've been working really hard since we finished the triangle to try to bring more funds to the area. So we were successful in getting a small Pasadena Community Foundation grant to plant trees extending out from the Triangle Park on Fontanet and Mariposa. And then we also applied to the state, CAL FIRE and Forestry, for trees within a broader area that cross Altadena-Pasadena border. So the map here indicates the area that where trees are eligible, and this is our first public announcement of that, so we'll be working with you and with our partners in the environmental sector to see who would like to subscribe to that and be part of it. And we plan to really engage local high school students and volunteers to help us, because we really believe that the urban greening process is a civic process and a community building process. We also applied for an active transportation grant with Dorothy and other members of the Altadena community. We don't know if that's successful yet, but that would help with some pedestrian safety and safe routes to schools. We usually don't get grants our first try, so we keep going, but the information is really helpful, and just the process of being in discussion about these things, I think, is a very good working group start. And Thursday, there'll be an event at a local Perry's Cafe, because a similar group to ours, and we promise you that we'll braid ourselves together and be coordinated, Tree People, it has some funding to do 5 to 10 conversions of the green grass to native habitat and water-friendly landscaping. So we'll be meeting at Perry's Cafe Thursday at 6 to show you some more information about that and see who would like to participate. And then what Melanie mentioned is very exciting, because there's some other funding. So hopefully we can get some really nice boost in Altadena from these various projects. And I just wanted to share that, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Okay, Councilmember Markison.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that LA County has a bunch of trees that anybody in Altadena can call the Public Works, and they will come out and look at your park strip and see, or out by the street and see. They have qualifications. It can't be too close to a driveway. I have one. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, it's not on. I have a county tree in front of my house and they will figure out how many you can get, and I got 4 of them for a neighbor. So you can call LA County Public Works and talk to the tree people, and they will come see how many trees they can put in your front yard along the front of your property. So no grant needed, just call them up.
That's great. So between all of these opportunities, we can maximize our urban forest and tree canopy and have lots of benefits, hopefully. Any other questions or? Yes.
Councilmember Robertson and then Councilmember Wong.
I apologize if you mentioned this. When do you expect the program to make trees available to folks?
We will be, we're ready to rock as of tonight. Like if you're within this zone delimited on the map, we can start taking information for interested groups or areas, segments, and start organizing that. We've been very limited in starting based on the weather, but this is the right time to get our permits in order and, organize the priority locations and where we have champions. And then as soon as it gets cool, we can start planting.
Are you soliciting, say, one property at a time? Like if one person hears about this and says, that sounds great, I want a tree, should they get in touch with you or should they go the public works route? Or are you looking for, say, a whole block of interested folks or a community group that's organized their neighborhood, something like that?
In the perfect world, it would be easier for us if it was, a block that said we really love the idea, we want to steward and champion the trees. But anyone who really wants a tree, who's in those zones, and plus what the council person was saying about additional areas, maybe we could get trees from Public Works. So you can, on the bottom of the flyer, it says info at Amigos de los Rios. So you can call and meet with us, or we can meet with you and just start getting a list. I have a table where we just took the names of every street, north, south, more or less, east, west, and those are the list of all the eligible streets. So we don't have enough trees to do absolutely every potential spot, but we have, I think 230, so that's enough to get some good tree action going. So the answer would be we prefer coordinated groups, but we can, we can deal with individuals.
I just have a question. Are the trees?
One moment. Councilmember Wong and then Councilmember.
I defer.
Oh, you defer. Okay. Councilmember.
Okay, I just
Veronica.
I just had a question. Are the trees that you're looking at planting sidewalk friendly? Because what happens is, we have a lot of trees in our community and some of them don't really fit the street that they're on. They're so huge, they're tearing up the sidewalk and then they're going through the ground and tearing up your plumbing. The roots grow into the plumbing. And I just think that some of the trees need to be more, I guess you could say, community friendly.
Right.
Because you don't need a big giant oak tree on the front of a little bitty house, that hardly has a front yard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so CAL FIRE and Forestry is the grant that we got, and we've been working with them for the past about probably 10 years, and they have this motto, right tree, right place. So we also contacted Pasadena Urban Forester, just because it's similar climate and similar difficult conditions, and we're looking at their master plan for trees and including the species that have been selected. They've done it by street, by segment of block. So we will work very hard to have our trees meet the 3 criteria of being water, water-wise, tolerant to drought and difficult conditions, to being root ball friendly to sidewalk, because we want this to really be a benefit to pedestrians, especially students, and we don't want them to have to navigate difficult routes and up, differential levels that my daughter has cerebral palsy. I'm very sensitive to slight level changes that trees cause can create quite a nasty fall. So we'll make our best attempt to work with an arborist and choose trees that we believe over time will, flourish in that spot without causing nuisance.
If you have a really large or huge tree on your property, will you guys come and take that one away and put a smaller one?
Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, we didn't include that in our grant, and that might be a conversation to have with the county. If, with the drought, some trees, older established trees, have gone into shock. And I mean, this is a separate issue from our grant, but I am concerned that we have to be very careful about caring for those trees and not waiting for a failure of a limb or a failure of the tree. So, maybe as part of this urban forestry initiative, we can also, sensitize ourselves. We're going to be doing an index with a software that we have purchased that community scientists can help us do. So we'll index all the trees on the streets where we're planting, both the legacy trees and the new trees. And if we see a tree that we think looks dangerous or that it has, some potential for, a failure, we will share that information. So I want to make, that's a scary proposition to have a tree that's frightening you.
Okay, final comment, question from Councilmember Markison.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, what we're talking about here is private property, is that right?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's the right of way. It's the public.
Okay, and so the county has given permission for all of this, and the trees that they have requirements for what goes in the public county right of way.
Right, we have to go through the permit process. So what we do is we assess feasibility and check and see whether there's a match between projected number of trees and what we have. And now that we have the grant, we can work with our survey team and do an index, and then we'll take that index with the approval. We'd like to get approval from the local business or school or resident, and then we can get a permit for those trees. So that's the process that we're just starting.
Right, I don't think the county requires a permit to plant trees,
Well,
but
if
they
you would
need,
like a
but they
permission-
have,
a
they have
permission,
an
I should
approved
say.
list of
Yeah.
trees, and because they have to trim them.
Right.
So, right, because you're putting them in the county right away. So
Right,
they have
so-
to trim them, and they will only let you plant slow-growing trees, and there's a whole list, but I know that and the reason I bring it up is because with the New York Drive project, the county is working with some different folks from the Huntington Gardens and the Arboretum to figure out what kind of trees we're going to put along New York Drive,
Right.
because they're redoing some of the trees there. And the residents, I believe county code says, our county code people left, but I think county code says that the residents are responsible for maintaining the park strips in front of their houses.
Right.
And so, I'm assuming that you'll get agreement from the people that
exactly.
they're gonna maintain it. And by the way, I took out 3,500 square feet of grass and my water built it and planted it with all low water and a lot of hardscape with DG and all that, and my water bill didn't go down, FYI. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah. That's why they stopped giving us refunds for, I'm not saying don't do it, I am all for it, and I did it to my own yard, but the promise of low water bills is hard.
Right.
I
Well,
know
I
you're
think
building
part-
swales and stuff too, so that helps.
Yeah, I think part of it is just an ethos, like we've been looking at Melbourne, Australia, and other parts of the world where they know they're in water difficulty, and we're starting to try to get ahead of that.
Yeah.
So it's partly the utility bill, but it's also partly when it rains, infiltration, and
Yeah,
teaching.
I guess I'd just be concerned about promising people utility bills.
Okay, yeah, no, I
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
think that's necessarily a promise. It's a good hope, though, but there are multiple benefits.
Yeah.
And thank you
Okay.
for your clarification.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
we appreciate the information.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 6, and that goes back to you, Councilmember Markison.
Markison, once more, okay. Real quickly, I just want to make a general announcement that is that we have not heard back from the Board of Supervisors yet I can't help that this is not, okay. That we've not heard back from the Board of Supervisors yet regarding any hearing for Lavinia, so we'll keep everybody posted with that, but it won't be in October, so, as far as I know. It won't be in October, so I'll give everybody some heads up notice. We reviewed an item, or we voted on an item in our land use meeting this month, and Dorothy Wong is going to present that.
Thank you, Councilmember.
And we have an injured applicant.
Yes, we want to introduce Mr. Daniel Singer. He's the applicant, and this is regarding project PM 064462, a subdivision at 3572 Canyon Ridge Drive, also known as 3511 Lincoln. So it's currently a single-family residence on a 1.4, I think, acre.
That's 1.14 acres.
And will be divided into 3 parcels.
Hi, I'm Daniel Singer. The map that's on the easel over there is a map of our property. There's a detailed map of the property across the top. There's 2 smaller maps on the board that show the community and how the property relates to the community. It's an unusual property because it's 1.14 acres that stretches in a long rectangle all the way from Lincoln Avenue on the east side around to our driveway on Canyon Ridge on the west side. We have vehicular access from the driveway on Canyon Ridge on the west, and all of our utilities come from Lincoln Avenue on the east side. We've been living there for 16 years. We wanted to add 2 houses onto the property so that we could have a place for our parents, our aged parents, to retire to, so that we could live as sort of a family community. When we started doing our research for this, we were told that we would have to formally subdivide the property into 3 lots. We started this process with LA County many years ago. One of the requirements was to get a letter of agreement or permission from Altadena Town Council that would include us talking to all of our neighbors who are all, surrounding our property, and make sure that if there were any objections or any reasons to address the process of construction and of having 2 additional single-family residences on our property, that was all addressed. We got that letter of permission from the Altadena Town Council in 2010. We've been working on this a long time. But there were several holds on the project, part of which was the drought and several other things. But here it is 2018, and they've asked us, the LA County has asked us to get a fresh letter of permission from the Altadena Town Council in reflecting the fact that many of our neighbors, many of the houses have sold in our neighborhood. So we have new neighbors, and it just required a fresh round of permissions. So we've done that. All of our paperwork is in place with LA County. 2 weeks ago, we presented to the Land Use Committee, and we got a vote of approval. And so now we're here 2 weeks later to get the vote of approval from the Altadena Town Council at large. I just want to keep it short. So can I answer any questions?
Okay, again, I'm going to turn it over to you, to the Land Use Chair.
Yeah, most of you are on the Land Use Committee and were in the discussions before. So for those of you who are not, do you have any questions or anything? I know you've been around and maybe seen it before. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the Land Use Committee voted to recommend to the Town Council that the Town Council recommend to the Regional Planning that the project be approved without conditions. We have a motion to that effect, but I just want to make sure nobody has any questions. Okay, go ahead.
So on that note, I would like to motion.
You can go sit down, Ms.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fellow council members.
I know, huh?
He's a trooper.
I know.
Okay, so in the fellow council members, in the matter of, I would like to motion in the matter of project PM 064462, subdivision of 3572 Canyon Ridge Drive, also known as 3511 Lincoln, I move that that the recommendation, of the Altadena, of the, the Land Use Committee recommend, I'm screwing it up. I move that the Land Use Committee recommended that the Altadena Town Council,
you moved that the Altadena Town Council send a letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
That the project to subdivide, be recommended for approval without condition.
There you go.
I'll write it neatly in a letter.
It's okay, yeah. Well,
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so in this matter, the CUP, you have heard the motion, and it is properly seconded. All in favor? Oh, public comment.
there's no public comment.
Okay, so no public comments.
Right.
All right, so moving along, and, okay.
We didn't vote yet.
We didn't earn it.
No.
Okay, you have heard the motion. It is properly seconded. Are you all ready for a vote?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposing? Any abstention? Okay, the Altadena Town Council will then write a letter recommending to the regional planner for approval.
Yeah,
Okay?
recommending approval.
Recommending approval.
We don't approve it. Okay,
You don't have the power.
right.
Okay,
Education Committee.
she'll need the.
Education Committee, I waited a long time for this.
Okay, the next item is 6.2, Education Committee, and that is Councilmember Lee.
Thank you. The Education Committee is giving a very short report. Next week on Wednesday is our town hall, and Billy Malone will be there because he's on the committee too. It's the Integration in Public Schools Town Hall. We have 6 members on a panel. There'll be parents in the room, and I hope everyone can attend. There will be appetizers, and a lot has been going on with our public schools in Altadena. It's all very exciting. A lot of people are coming out to learn more about them and to participate. And just talk to me if you'd like to know anything else. And Billy Malone will be getting our appetizers for us because he's a great guy. So thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? The town hall is next Wednesday, September 26th, from 6:30 to 8:30 in this room. And it's called Integration in Public Schools, and we'll be discussing our public schools here in Altadena, the PUSD schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. And moving on to the item number 6.3, Safe Streets Mobility, Councilmember Wong.
Yes, thank you very much. So I just wanted to report the Safe Streets Committee meets again the first Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 here in the community room. So we had some nice lively conversation meeting new community members every month. So please come and join us. The first Thursday, the Safe Streets Committee focuses on mobility for all users. On that note, we had a really fun event, community pedestrian and bicycle safety training on Friday, September 14th. Councilmember Jones and committee member also Ann Coman and Cal Walks Berkeley Safe Trek had a great first assessment. So we'll be getting a report in October on that, focusing on safe routes to schools. Do you have anything you want to say, Councilmember Jones, or all good?
It was September 14th. Residents, parents, and council members, CHP and the sheriff, Public Works, and Cal Walks. We all met, and I think it came out really good because there seemed to be a partnership into making sure that around Jackson is safe. I was talking to Public Works today. They've already started the process for audits to happen around the school just from our meeting last Friday. So it was good to see everybody come, and I just thank everybody for the engagement and the support being there.
Thank you, Councilmember. And then launching off of that, I want everyone in the community and fellow council members, it's a really exciting time. We are going to also be then taking what we've learned, promoting safe routes to schools in 2 events. So on Sunday, this coming Sunday, at the Bob Lucas Library in partnership with the Altadena Libraries, we'll be creating a pop-up park. So we're focusing on active transportation, bicycling, safety for kids specifically, but this is family-oriented and anyone can come. Bring your bicycle. We have Steve's Bike Shop here in Altadena, and around the cycle we'll be doing free bike tune-ups and flat tire repair. We also have some fun little helmet decorating and DIY bicycle streamers for the kids. That should be really fun. Then also Councilmember Robertson and Ann Coman are going to lead a nice Walk Your Neighborhood walking audit workshop. Day one, we'll be hosting Safe Routes to Schools workshop. We'll be having restorative yoga in the library, and our good friends at Two Dragon Martial Arts will be having karate demonstration, Tai Chi, and then we also have Taste of Lincoln, picnic in the park. So we'll be having some samplings. They'll be free from some of our local restaurants along Lincoln, and maybe more. It keeps growing. We have some arts and crafts. So if anybody wants to come, we have outdoor games. And then we have our community safety expo with some workshops from the Red Cross. We'll have Deputy Dan Page and also Officer Ulloa, so LA County Sheriff's Highway Patrol, and the list goes on. So we will be doing some water capture demonstrations from Water LA, and it keeps growing. So hopefully you guys can come between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can come at any time. The Taste of Lincoln will go from 12 to 2. We'll have a schedule that we'll put out there. We'd love for the town council to represent, and education committee, and anyone else that wants to come and be a part of it. We'd love your volunteerism, activism, and support. And then on October the 10th, right? Or is it October the 9th? Jackson Elementary will have their first Safe Routes to Schools. Do you want to talk about that really quick?
No, go ahead.
Anyway, it'll be a walking train. So you'll learn more about that. Day one will be at the pop-up park. So it'll be a way for the kids to meet, I think, at Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yes.
And they're going to walk to Jackson Elementary. So we need volunteers.
Yeah, to walk this.
Is that part of Walk to School Day?
It
Is that
is.
what that event is?
It is, but we're doing it one day ahead of time.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And item number 7, community reports. Okay, Ms. Roy, Altadena Library.
Good evening, council members. I'm going to pass around our newsletter from the library as usual.
Is this your last meeting?
This will be my last meeting. Rumor has got around. This is my last week at work at the Altadena Library. Friday is my last day. There's a party in the library at 4:30. If you want to come, the public is invited. That's how I go out. So I did not plan it. One of our board members decided to throw the party, or I guess helped organize it with the staff. So I hope not. I'm going to wear my jogging shorts so I can run out of there and not get. That was not to imply anything. That was only to say that I have been known to work late nights if I let myself, and especially if I party and don't get everything finished ahead of time, I'll be there all night. So gotta get done ahead of time. Well, let me bring your attention to a couple of things we have going on. Both of them are on the front page, which are the important things I want to draw your attention to. Is our Taste of Dena fundraiser that the Altadena Library Foundation puts on yearly now. They did the first one last year, and it was such a success that they're doing it again this year, and they plan to continue this annually. This is a fundraiser. You do purchase tickets for it. The tickets are $50 each, and you can see more information on buying the tickets and the event itself at tasteofdena2018.eventbrite.com if you're interested. There's going to be so many great local eateries, wine. There's going to be special guests, musical guests, a lot of activities there. It really is a good time, and everybody who I've spoken to who went last year really enjoyed it and are planning on coming back. So do consider helping to benefit the library by attending Taste of Dena. And you can see right below that, second Saturday starts again October 13th. With Upstream, one of our most popular second Saturday acts, will be back on October 13th. So do come back for those concerts. And I'm glad Councilmember Wong mentioned the pop-up bike park that her and the partners with the Altadena Library have worked very hard to put together, and we're very excited about that this Sunday. So I'll just echo what she said, come out and support all of these different community organizations on Sunday. That would be great. If there's any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yes? I'll let you recognize.
Councilmember Markison?
Victoria. I just had a real quick question because I was not able to go last year.
Okay.
Are there places for people to sit down? I'm sure there aren't tables, but.
There are tables.
Oh, there are tables.
There are tables. I would check the website to make sure you don't need to reserve a table or something like that, but they do have tables out. So there are places to sit.
Because, yeah, and I'm just going to say this. Last year, I wasn't able to go, but I got confused with people. I think you were talking about tables, and you have people that have tables and then people that sit at table. It's like different things.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you might not have a situation where people might actually buy tables. Like if they're, I don't know how many people sit at a table, but maybe there are people that would buy a table and you'd get more money. I don't know. It's just a thought. So, thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Knapp?
Has there been what has been the decision in terms of your interim replacement?
So at the board meeting, I think it was September 5th, the board voted to create an ad hoc subcommittee to search for an interim director that would basically foster the position or steward the position until the more long-term plans have been made. But until that time, starting this Saturday, the next in command under me is Stella Terrazas. She's actually the public services director now, which was my old job. And she is going to take over until the ad hoc subcommittee can make a decision. They are looking at qualified candidates that are in the community, possibly retired candidates that may have worked in local libraries and been directors at local libraries to step in.
And secondly, has there been a decision about reopening Bob Lucas on a Saturday or Sunday?
Yes. Well, the last kind of talk about that in the board meetings was that we were going to look at doing that in early 2019 after some of the renovations that we planned for Bob Lucas have been completed. Okay. The main things they want to redo is the flooring that's in there and then repaint the interior and exterior, redo some of the landscaping around the buildings. And then what they're looking at doing is opening on Sunday afternoon. I think 1 to 5 was the last that they looked. And when we did a mini little feasibility study, it did look like we had the staffing to do that. We are about to hire a new librarian in charge of adult services, which will help us. This is a position that we've had historically up until about 2015. Late 2015, I started supervising those staff when our former adult services supervisor moved down to our collection development department and started working down there. So we never refilled that position. But now that I'm transitioning on to new opportunities, we have gone through the hiring process there and expect to make a decision within the next couple of days. So that too will help us have more hours in our public services, which will allow us to have more staff members available to open the branch on a Sunday. There was a lot of reasons that we looked at for opening on Sunday rather than Saturday, one of which being the main library is open on Saturday. This gives us an extra day that the library is open. We'll now have a place open 7 days a week. We also have a little handshake agreement with the Seventh-day Adventist Church across the street. They use our parking lot on Saturdays. So there was a lot of thought put into it, and we decided it would be kind of like a pilot program. Let's open it up for a few months right after the renovations, see how many people come. Hopefully we get a lot of support from the community and a lot of people come in, and if there's a lot of attendance, we'll certainly make that a permanent part of our schedule.
Thank you.
Sure. Councilmember Simmons?
Brian, one thing in your newsletter that I noticed that you didn't note was on the bottom of page 5, the back to school spotlight for Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
That's one I wasn't aware of, and folks ought to be aware of the fact that that's a really nice package, and if kids can get it, and adults too, for free,
yes,
it's a great service.
This is something we've had for quite some time. You can get the Microsoft Office suite through the library for free. Not only that, when we first started this, and I'd have to check with our IT manager to make sure this is still a thing going on, but it came with a terabyte of free memory. Like, you can save to the cloud in like a whole terabyte of memory. And all you need is a library card to get it. And again, on page 5, you can read about how to sign up for that, but if you want to drop into the library, our staff can help you get that whole process started. You can bring in your laptop and help it. We can help you with that. Yeah.
And good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just hang on there for a second. We'll see you in.
Things every once in a while. But we do want you to know that we're really going to miss having you here.
Thank you.
So the little something we have for you, I will read it.
Okay.
Because I know you can't read it yourself. The Altadena Town Council recognizes Ryan Roy for representing the Altadena Library in the absence of the director, with great appreciation of the outstanding service you have provided to the Altadena community. Presented today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So we get a picture.
Any pictures? Yeah, hold on to this.
There she is.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank the entire council, and this really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it, and your continued support and appreciation for the library is always something that we treasure. So thank you very much. Thank you.
The Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Cauliflower.
Thank you, Council. I was here last month and I announced that the Chamber was in search of a new office manager. We had 6 applicants. We advertised and had 6 applicants. We interviewed 4 applicants, some very good candidates. I am delighted and very pleased to announce this evening that your own Veronica Jones will become our new office manager for the Chamber of Commerce. We are delighted to have her, very excited to have her, and very grateful to have her. So welcome aboard. Thank you. Secondly, just wanted to expound on Deb's announcement. Our Power Breakfast on Wednesday is going to be a really neat event. I just wanted to qualify it is a free event to Chamber members. There is an $8 charge to non-members. However, continental breakfast is included, so even non-members, it's a great value, a great event, so I encourage you to join us for that. On Thursday, the 27th, we are having a mixer at the Daisy Shop at 2525 North Lake from 5:30 to 7. That also is free to members. There is a $5 charge to non-members, so membership does have its benefits. Lastly, the Chamber, in conjunction with the Red Cross, held a blood drive here at the community center yesterday. First one, they had a capacity, we were hoping for 32 pints of blood. We had 15 people show up to donate. 11 of those met the criteria, so a little disappointing to me, but the Red Cross was delighted with it. They were very happy with it. They actually want to do it maybe twice a year up here. It's the closest one. The next closest one they do is Huntington. So geographically, it's great for them. They love the facility, so we're going to pursue that, and hopefully we can do a biannual blood drive here at the center. So that's all I have, unless there's anybody has any questions.
Questions from the council?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Collaborate Pasadena, Councilmember Sanyika.
Testing, testing. Is this on?
Go ahead.
Okay. The Collaborate Pasadena Leadership Council meeting was held at Pacific Oaks College on August 22nd at 6 p.m. The objective of the meeting was to discuss the Collaborate Pasadena's transition and future at Pacific Oaks College. The director gave an overview of the current status of the transition. We were introduced to the president of Pacific Oaks College, Dr. Breen, and her staff, who informed us that the Collaborate Pasadena will be a part of the Center for Community and Social Impact. And this is one of the programs offered at Pacific Oaks College. According to Mayor Tornick, there will be no change in Collaborate Pasadena Leadership Council makeup. In other words, the organizational structure is basically the same. The only thing that's going to change in there, the Leadership Council, and then we had a Leadership Council, then Executive Committee, and then work groups, and then it outlined the work groups. Well, it'll be Leadership Council, Pacific Oaks College, work group, and then the work groups, outlines the work groups. And he also stated that that the structure will, that the Leadership Council will act as advisors to the work group and to the college program. Now, there was some discussion on ways to measure social impact. A few announcements were made, and then with there being no more questions or concerns, then the meeting was adjourned at 7:30. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions from Councilmember Marcuson?
Okay, so, sorry, when we started participating in this, the council as a whole said, yes, we wanted to participate. It was a benefit to PUSD, which included, that was the PAS, is Pasadena, Altadena, and Sierra Madre. And so I would like to see if the council should reevaluate our participation in it based on the fact that now it's a private college or something that's benefiting. So
it's not that the private college is benefiting, it's really just taking the place of Flint Ridge. We were at Flint Ridge at first, and because we lost that funding, but if you don't have a office or something like that to be in, you're going to have like a lot of just kind of like chaos.
But I thought PUSD was no longer supporting it. It's no longer part of the PUSD program and stuff, right?
We're just not receiving any of the funding because of the budget cuts. But PUSD is still included in that.
Okay, I would just really like for the council to reevaluate just who's benefiting and whether we have energy to put elsewhere or something if we could.
Well, it's supposed to be Pasadena, Altadena, Sierra Madre. We're supposed to be, the whole concept was sharing resources in those three areas working together. So none of that has changed. What changed was that we lost funding. But the whole objective, the whole concept, of sharing and sharing resources and that type of thing is still in existence. Wow. So that's the reason why he was saying there's no change in our organizational structure and goals and objectives. We just have another meeting place.
Yeah, I think we got involved because Supervisor Antonovich asked us to get involved, and I just think that we ought to just reevaluate. The program has changed, and I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying let's understand as an organization what we're supporting. That's all.
Okay, unless if I'm missing something, Pasadena, Altadena, Sierra Madre, the coalition still exists.
Right.
There's a change in the funding.
Okay, whatever.
And all the objectives still remains the same, so no change.
Well,
that's what I'm hearing. But again, maybe what we'll do. That's exactly what I'm about to say. The executive committee will then look into that further into that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on to the, okay. LA County Department of Parks and Recs, and do we have Mr. Estrada? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I apologize for not being here during the summer, but I cover 5 parks, and unfortunately this summer was really hectic, so I apologize for not being here last month. With that said, we're doing a lot of programming throughout the Altadena parks, and specifically outside of our normal after-school Tiny Top programs and sports programs. We do offer a parent project at Loma Alta Park, and this program, we're trying to get a little more advertisement for the program, since this program has been offered during the summertime, and also now we're including it during the fall. And we just had this program start up last Monday, and now it's going all the way through November 12th. And the program basically develops new parenting skills that work, and it creates a plan to manage your serious behavior problems, get emotional and practical support from certified parent project facilitators. And this is a 10-week session every Monday, and it goes from 6 to 9 p.m., and it's completely free, and it's offered in conjunction with the probation department. If you have any questions, the program is run during this 10-week session at Loma Alta Park. Another program that we are conducting down at Loma Alta is our pickleball program, and I had met with some of our fellow town council members this past week, and it's every Thursday night from 6 to 9 p.m. It's free, and if you would like some further information about participating or becoming an advocate for the program, you can contact the park at Loma Alta, or you can contact our ambassador, Lynn Rabin. And she's been a great advocate in the program, and we enjoy having pickleball at Loma Alta Park, and I appreciate the support from the town council as well in conducting this program. There is going to be construction done at the tennis courts to resurface the courts. That's pending final approval. I have not got the date for that yet. Once I do, I'll be able to let the town council know the official start date of the resurfacing of the tennis courts, so that the community can be aware of that. Because I know we also have to service our tennis players, so that way they can be aware of that as well. We also offer a cheer program at Loma Alta and Farnsworth Park and Charles White, and the program is $35 for boys and girls, and it's ages 4 to 17, and it started a couple weeks ago, and it's going to go all the way until January. And so we're really excited about it, and Loma Alta already has over 50 girls signed up for that program, and like I said, it goes from 4 to 17 years of age. We also do a kids lacrosse program, and this is a great program that we're doing in conjunction with Kids Lacrosse, and the games are going to start October 27th. And now this is only for girls, but we are going to expand it to younger boys and girls with the younger age. And the reason why we're doing it with the girls is because we're trying to keep the costs down, just because it does take more equipment and more cost for the parents. So it does get a little costly, and it's a little rougher sport when you do it with the boys. So we're doing it with a couple other county parks, and it's going to go October 27th to December 8th. And registration is online. It's $95, but that includes your member registration with U.S. Lacrosse, your uniform, and the games. And you can register with Kids Lacrosse at kidslacrossesc.com, and that's kidslacrossesc.com. So if you're interested, you can check that out, register there. Like I said, it's for girls only. And if you have any information and would like to register at the park, you can contact Loma Alta as well. We do have our after-school program at Loma Alta. It is $20 a week for ages 6 to 12. Our Tiny Top program is completely full at the moment, but we are taking a waiting list for it, and that's for 3 to 5-year-olds. And we have a youth flag football program, and that's $65, which includes the uniform and practices and the games. Farnsworth Park, we also conduct an after-school program, 6 to 12 years old, and that's $25 per week. And Charles White also does the after-school program, and that's $5 a week for the same age group of 6 to 12. I did want to make a mention that in November, and I will be making this at the next meeting, but I wanted to get the word out to the council, is that we are going to have a countywide girls empowerment program. And this is going to be on Saturday, November 10th. And it's going to be held at East LA College, but we are targeting all girls from the ages of 10 to 17. And we're really trying to get as many as we can to attend this program. It's really being pushed all throughout our East Agency, and this covers from Altadena, La Crescenta, all the way to the East LA, La Puente area. And it's a great program that the girls are going to be given. I was able to attend the program last year when they held it in Azusa. And they have great speakers that come out and advocates for young women, and it empowers them to think past high school and think in a professional setting. And if you're interested, you can contact Loma Alta. They already have the registration for it. Like I said, I'll be mentioning it, but I wanted to get it into your ear now. If you would like more information about our park programs or amenities, you can visit our website at parks.lacounty.gov. And we have all of our parks. It's a newly revamped website, so you can check out all of the programs. You can actually register our programs and also reserve park areas. If you have any questions for myself, you can email me, and my email is sestrada, and that's spelled ESTRADA, and it's at parks.lacounty.gov. Are there any questions from the council or any?
Councilmember Knapp?
The Girls Empowerment Day, is it an all-day program?
It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
9 to 3.
Sorry, I didn't say that, but
That's
yes,
okay.
9 to 3.
And then I also just wanted to express my thanks and gratitude to you and to Penny and to Albert. I think we had a very productive pickleball meeting, and I'm looking forward to our follow-up conference call. And I have my fingers crossed that good things for pickleball are coming to Altadena.
Yes, and it's a great program, and it is for everybody. You know, we have it for youth, adults, seniors. You could even play it if you are in a wheelchair. So it's very accessible for everybody, and we accept anybody and everybody. So if you want to be an advocate for that program, feel free to contact Loma Alta or email me. I appreciate it.
Okay, Councilmember Simmons?
Another pickleball question.
Yes.
You mentioned resurfacing the tennis courts. I know one of the issues with the pickleball crowd has been that they go through an awful lot of carpenter's tape putting lines down. Are you going to paint for pickleball lines too?
We have tried to address that, and we're waiting to hear back from our department because that's from a different division within our East Agency. So as far as the painting on the lines, I did inquire about it, so we're going to see if it's going to be done at Loma Alta, but our other avenue is Farnsworth Park because those courts are also going to be redone. We don't have a timetable for that, but if we are able to get the lines for pickleball done on that court, one of the courts there, that's a possibility as well.
Is there any way we can advocate to get that incorporated?
Definitely. And you could send me an email, and I could pass along to my deputy director, and I could pass along to Albert. The more voices that are heard that want to have pickleball lines drawn and are more in support of it, coming from the community, this definitely helps.
Is that already part of your?
Yeah, we had a 2-hour meeting with Parks, including Sam and his boss Albert. And the issue with painting permanent striping at Loma Alta Park is that bid had already gone out and been accepted, and it wasn't included in part of the budget. However, we had information regarding the cost.
Change order?
And so we've asked for a change order. It may or may not be possible. I will say, to Sam's point, we do need additional support and advocacy for the program because there is some pushback from the tennis community. And although we're certainly supportive of both sports, the pickleball community has come out 50 to 100 people on Thursday nights to play. And as Sam was saying, it is intergenerational. So whereas a young child couldn't play tennis with an older person necessarily, you can play tennis with an adult if you're a kid. So at any rate, we've got a follow-up conference call that I think will be hopefully beneficial.
We've managed to get football and soccer to share lines.
That was part of the conversation, yes.
Yeah, we also at our gym at Loma Alta, we have both have volleyball and basketball lines. Yeah. So it is a possibility. So, and the basketball players don't complain about the volleyball lines. Volleyball players don't complain about the basketball lines. So, yeah, we've already started off on the right foot with the meeting that we did have the other day. So the more support, the better. And it's definitely, we want to make sure that both the tennis community and the pickleball community are both together and on the same page.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Census tract report, 4602. Well, I can start by saying that the land use committee, at the last land use committee, the developer of Palm Heights made a presentation, and there will be additional presentation at the next land use. And if everything goes well, the town council will be expected to take a vote on the matter. I believe is October 16 for the new council members. I know there was an offer to the council members to take a second walk of this property, this project. So if you have any questions, myself and Councilmember Malone is available, and perhaps Councilmember Malone may have additional information he would like to share. Do you have additional information you'd like to share?
All I have is a couple of people actually contacted back about going through.
On the mic, please, so that. Thank you.
We had a couple of council members that were interested in going through a walkthrough, but not altogether. So I think what we'll do is pass that information on to the developer, and then everyone can go individually. I'm sure they'll allow them to go at different times.
I drove by. My question is just, can I walk the property on my own, or do I need, I drove by, looked through, can I just, it's open, but I don't want
Not always.
to.
It's usually gated, and it's usually locked. And I know there's a film crew that's renting the property right now, so if you go onto the property, you will be on the film crew area.
Woo, well then I will.
They've been
do
there
that
for like 10
them,
months.
for
The
sure.
film crew's there for been like 10 months.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. So that's the conclusion of the report for 4602, 4610.
I'm going to pass because most of it we already talked about.
Okay. Thank you. 460302.
Yes. On August 27th, I received an email from Council Member Aaron Tishida, and he actually sent the email to me and my colleague, Dr. Thomas, and he was telling us that there was a resident in our census tract, Andrew Lansford, who had a concern about speeding on his street between Lincoln and Casitas. So me and Dr. Thomas, she actually contacted the sheriff's station, and I went on the website for Public Works because we had a situation like that before on Ventura and Windsor. And I typed in his information, and they have like on the website where you could type in information about residents' concerns. And they did respond back to the resident. And he told me in an email that he got a phone call from the Department of Public Works, and they said that they would do a speed evaluation. I asked for a traffic study, but they told him that they would do a speed evaluation. And then Dr. Thomas told me that the sheriffs were going to add some more, I guess, patrol in that area to make sure that people are not speeding and that kind of thing. So they said in the response to the resident, they told him that they'll do the speed evaluation and it'll take about 12 weeks. So I suggested that we maybe after 6 weeks just do a follow-up phone call. But I was really pleased that they did get he got a response really quick from Public Works. And then I also want to thank the sheriffs for their input. So that solved the issue in our census tract.
Okay.
Just remember that speed evaluations can result in the raising of the speed limit. That's different than having the sheriffs come out and give tickets. It's, you know, it is what it is. I know I sound like a broken record all the time, but that is one of the outcomes, is that they can say, well, you know, everybody's driving 40 on this road, we don't have any accidents, and there's no, you know, so we're just going to raise the speed limit to 40, which then means that they can go like 45, and that'll solve the problem because they won't be speeding. So it's always something to think about when residents complain, to see if, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen by any stretch of the imagination. I just want everybody in the community and everybody on the town council to know that that can be one of the outcomes. And we don't have, I don't think we have any road with a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit on it in Altadena. And, right? And Woodbury. Oh, Woodbury, okay, that's right. But, you know, it just, they're few and far between, so.
And I did address that concern to John Ickes. He's the one of the supervisors in Public Works that work with us on the Windsor Ventura. In that area, I mean, there were some accidents, so they actually put traffic stop signs coming out of what is that? It's on the top of my head.
Crosswalks, what'd you say?
JPL, they put
JPL,
a stop sign for where the cars are coming out of there. They put one on Windsor and they put it on Ventura, so.
Yeah, and that can be the outcome as well. I just want everybody to be really clear that we run the risk of one of the solutions being raise the speed limit, so.
And I also want to thank Council Member Aaron Tishida for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you. 4601.
As Veronica did, I'm going to pass on everything with the exception of also indicating that we've got complaints of speeding on northbound and southbound Lake from Altadena Drive to Loma Alta. And so one of the residents that's affected by that is here tonight. And I reached out to CHP, and CHP is going to work on canvassing that area for ticketing, because it's an uninterrupted stop from Altadena Drive to Loma Alta, or it's an uninterrupted drive. So we've got, it's a preferred place for motorcyclists to speed up and down. So we're going to see if we can't help curb that by some advanced ticketing, and then we'll take it from there and see where it goes. Yeah.
This is not the first time we've had that, and I think people just get complacent, and you just need to, you know.
I also noticed, because I drove the stretch myself, that there is a speed limit sign. Essentially, once you make the turn north on Lake, there's a speed limit sign right there, and there's not another one all the way up.
And they can paint on the road, you know, you can get them to, it's more expensive and they balk at it, but that's what we do. Sorry, but where New York Drive transitions from Pasadena into.
And it turns from 50 to 35.
35, right.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah.
So you can, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
In that case, can we request speed bumps?
No.
No?
The speed bumps are a last resort and only on like back roads kind of thing. They, you know, if first responders have to go on your road, then county won't really do speed bumps.
There's a one that's called a blimp.
Can you get on the mic, please?
Oh, okay, so there's a blimp and there's a bump. So the blimp they can put in there, and the first responders can get through. But the bump, but they have to do a study.
But it does help to speed traffic down.
It does, because there's one on where New York Drive runs out. I don't know what it turns to past Lake. in that neighborhood, they have them.
They do, between, on
Mm-hmm. Right,
New
I
York
don't
Drive.
think that's a main, I don't think
Yeah,
that's.
No,
yeah,
it's not.
It's not
Right.
Lake, for sure.
No, it's
Right,
not.
it's not Lake, and it's not New York Drive, and it's,
But
yeah,
in
so
your
where
neighborhood,
we're
it might
having,
work.
if we're having a
your
problem on any of the larger streets, they won't do speed bumps.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, 460301.
Yes, hello, thank you. So I just wanted to report on a few things since the mosquitoes became a big deal, and I happened to be walking around and doing some legwork on that. So all of the council members have the sgvmosquito.org. It's basically San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector. So we have different books here. You can get your own. I'll have some digital versions on the website, but they can come to your house if you contact sgvmosquito.org, or you can give them a call at 626-814-9466, and they can survey your home. It takes them about a week. Maybe someone's gotten it sooner, but obviously they're very busy with the new, what is the mosquito called, everybody?
There's a couple different
80s, yes.
Tigers.
Yes. And these mosquitoes are transmitting tropical diseases.
Wait. They
Can
They
transmit.
are not, right.
Okay.
Let's not scare the community, that there's no disease right now in
That's true.
Altadena.
But on
so,
September the
or in
4th,
the county.
mosquitoes carrying West Nile were detected in the San Gabriel Valley. So it is a concern, vector-borne diseases.
Yes, but West
and,
Nile, yeah, that's different mosquito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a hot topic, so we have these, and again, if you are concerned, you will have someone, they can send someone over and either educate and/or treat, and also educate your community, your neighbors, sgvmosquito.org.
Before you move on, if I might, if you're in 4613, if you live in Census Tract 4613, and your address is a Pasadena address, do not let San Gabriel Valley Vector Control tell you that you have to go talk to Pasadena, and/or another vector control, because I have a whole chain. Who did I send that to? I sent it to you. I have a whole chain of emails where I got pushed around from here to there or the other place, and it should be, so just if anybody's calling from 4613, just tell them you're in the county, tell them you're in Altadena in the county or something, so.
Thank you. And so the other cool thing that happened in our census tract, and also anybody that's Lincoln Avenue Water, we went on a really informative tour of the Olive filtration plant. So all of you here have different water companies, and it'd be great. There were 22 residents from the varying census tracts that use Lincoln Avenue Water. The entire staff came out, and we got a tour and learned that we have 1 week supply of emergency rations that are stored, and 70% on average water is local. We found the Metropolitan Water District little turnkey in case they need to get water. So it's really empowering for all of us to understand where our water comes from and what needs to happen. So our particular water has to get extra filtration. So anyway, we'll be doing a little reports on Lincoln Avenue Water that I'm happy to share with all of the council members with Lincoln Avenue Water. And then the last thing that we really haven't talked about in Altadena is the LA County Department of Regional Planning has significant ecological area ordinances, and they're in their final draft mode. So you can look it up. Online, planning.lacounty.gov/SEA, and it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Go ahead, you want to talk about it, Diane?
Well, only that last time when we started looking at this originally, we were told by the supervisor's office that that it doesn't really apply to Altadena much or at all. So I
But
just
it
want to
does
make,
now.
okay, then somebody needs to tell us. I would say, in another meeting to have somebody come tell us how it affects Altadena.
Yeah, so everyone should look because the public hearing, the last day for comment, there is a whole swath of space in the upper region of Altadena, and then there's also an SEA ordinance that will affect homeowners with certain properties as
Do you know how many there are?
relates to.
Homeowners of certain properties?
It's a broad.
Looking
Yeah.
at the map that we had before, almost, very, very few.
That's what I'm saying.
Very,
Right, we're
literally very, very few.
Right.
But ultimately, they're also taking land so that it becomes permanently protected that's just above Altadena. I wouldn't be saying it if
Right,
it
but we have the hillside ordinance too. I mean, there are a lot of dynamics at work here, and I'm not saying we shouldn't all know what it is, but I'm also saying that I don't want to set people off that there's something that we didn't know about that's happening to Altadena.
Right.
And yes, it's happening, but it's not really affecting Altadena. So.
Yeah, so
for
if
the
you want
most
to
part,
learn about
for
it,
the most
because
part,
again, it is, our name is on there, Altadena, on the draft plan. So just take a look. The people in the Meadows were very happy to have been informed with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm. So anyway, they're going for their final draft hearing over on September 26th. So I thought I would share that. That's it.
Thank you so much. And do I?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Knapp and seconded by Councilmember Sutherlen. And we did very well today, 9:50.
Now I'm going to sneeze a million times. I have to get out of this room. This is my mother's legacy.